I've been waiting for this moment for a few months, ever since our keynote speaker agreed to come this morning, and it is such a treat. How would you like your iced tea? Regular or passion fruit? For dessert, pie or cake? How about your pizza? Pepperoni or goat cheese and pineapple? For those of you who have followed our speaker's daily podcasts or have read his books, you know that there is a right answer to these questions. For everyone else, I invite you to be enlightened this morning. The first draft of my introduction for our speaker was about 15 minutes long. This is Adam Carolla. I needed to include everything. Realizing I needed to shorten this to about 50 seconds, I want to give you some highlights to my first draft. Actor, writer, director, producer, comedian, one of my favorite, boxing trainer, Loveline, The Man Show, Mangria. True story, my wife walked a mile in the summer heat to make sure we would have a bottle of Mangria for a weekend party. New York Times best-selling author, twice. Book I've read a couple times, In 50 Years We'll All Be Chicks, followed by Not Taco Bell Material. Podcast king, Adam Carolla holds the Guinness Book of World Records for the most downloaded podcasts. Race car driver. In 2012, Adam Carolla won the Pro Celebrity race at the Toyota Grand Prix and followed it up the following year by being the only person to have ever won also the Pro category and come in first. Crowdfunding king. Adam Carolla recently completed what I just learned was a $1.5 million funding in just 32 days on fundanything.com of his next film, Road Hard. I'm thrilled to have Adam Carolla here. He is the ultimate entrepreneur and a true Renaissance man. Please welcome warmly to the stage, Mr. Adam Carolla.
Oh my God, why couldn't you be my dad? I'd be so much further along. I'm thrilled to be here. I was in Santa Monica last night. This is an interesting coincidence or serendipitous or just a horrible commute story. But I live in Hollywood, but I was here last night fulfilling one of my crowdfunding, Fund Anything. I want to thank them very much for helping us be so successful. $15,000, Adam does stand-up in your living room, and the guy lived in Santa Monica. So I was leaving this neck of the woods with a warm feeling in my belly and a nice buzz last night, and I turned around and came back for you today. When it came to doing the crowdfunding, I didn't know anything about it. It made sense to me, but of course, I'd never thought about it before, and it seemed very distant, just a few years ago, but seeing the success that a lot of the people had that will be up on this stage very shortly, although it's going to feel like a long time. I was inspired by them, and I told my folks a few things. We don't need to reinvent any wheels here. Let's just look at everyone else who's been successful before us and essentially just rip them off. So, I was giving out Zach Braff T-shirts and everything. To the T. I didn't even want my name involved with this thing. I chose, when it came time to do the video ask, where you're going to put 4 minutes of your best foot forward and see if you can get some money out of your fans, I chose to do a bit with Bryan Cranston that was funny rather than informative. And this is a personal thing for me, but my feeling is whatever you're putting out there, that 3 or 4 minute video, where you're explaining to people what you're doing and why you need their money, that is essentially your little summer sausage sampler in front of your Hickory Farms, and it's got a little toothpick through it with some cellophane on there, and if it tastes like crap, they're not coming in and buying the whole sausage. They don't want the entire kielbasa. They got a 1/4 inch of it, and it sucked. So my feeling was, if you're doing a comedy, have whatever you're showing be funny, and that will be your calling card, even though in my case it had nothing to do with the movie, and in fact it was just Bryan Cranston explaining he was not going to be involved with my project. Which he was a very good sport about, but I think having a sense of humor about yourself is, again, a good thing to have when you're asking people for money. I went in with, I have no self-esteem, which is not to be mistaken with low self-esteem. It's not, it's just no self-esteem. I don't exist. So it's not necessarily bad, but I didn't know what to expect when we launched this thing, and the problem with this arena is it is a pretty good yardstick to measure just how popular or perhaps unpopular you may be with your fans, or in fact how many fans you may have. And it is a process of sort of sticking your neck out there, because it could get cut off. I was overwhelmed to find out the response and how many people were getting involved with our project. And I think too, for me, a project that I was passionate about, a project that I was doing because I was inspired to do it. It wasn't just some sort of money grab and let's make a movie and let's make some money and I crank out one every 6 months kind of thing. I think my audience knew that I hadn't done a film in 5 or 6 years, and that I was doing this film because I was inspired, and I felt like this was a very organic thing. At some point, I think I should stand on this side because it's not fair to the people. That 34 inches can mean a lot emotionally to the people on the right side of the room. I know how you artists can get. Adam bullied us by standing on the other side of the podium, away from us. All right, touchy subject. Where were we? I made sure that the film was something I was passionate about. I made sure that the video was funny first and foremost, and informative was a distant second. And also that over the course of our 45-day campaign, there was lots of new material that kept coming around and kept showing up and kept being sort of refreshed and engaged in terms of people who might have checked the site and want to come back and check the site, a week from now or 5 days from now, and have there be new material, and then also realize that for that 45-day or 30-day or whatever that period is, that you become a basic slave to this process, meaning for this 45 days that this store is going to be open, you're going to be behind the grill flipping Johnny cakes the entire time. There won't be any, I don't want to do that guy's show, or I don't want to call into this or that, or screw that, I launched it, now I'm just going to sit back and wait for the money to come in. You will be servicing and should be prepared to service that contract that you made with your audience for the entire time that store, so to speak, is open. We're asking for money. I don't know about you guys, but I'd like to watch some football today. So I'm going to wrap this up. But if you have it struck. If you have any questions or something that's burning or something that you need to know about my campaign, I figured, again, take your campaign and sort of do what you do with it. I do stand-up, so thus I was in someone's living room doing stand-up last night. And that's what I do. If I was Phelps, I guess I would do laps in their pool for them. I don't know, but it's a good idea to kind of figure out what your strengths are and apply them to your campaign. But if there's any questions you might have before I hand the mic back, yes.
Do you have a preference in terms of crowdfunding sites that you would use for your project?
Well, in terms of a preference for a site, Kickstarter, Fund Anything, all that stuff. For us, I said, we went with Fund Anything. And people said, well, why them? And I said, they showed up with a corsage and a boutonniere, and they asked us to the prom. And I said, yes, because for me, the site, and this is just my opinion, I don't think the site is going to make or break your campaign. That's a storefront. It's going to be up to you to make the video and to steer people that way. And yes, there's different things that different sites can do for you, but I wanted a site that was enthusiastic and wanted to make our campaign a success, and then wanted to hold our campaign up as an example of their site being successful. And it was that kind of enthusiasm that I wanted, not so much, the name recognition or the history, but somebody who said, we're going to work twice as hard as the next guys, and we're going to make this successful for you so that we can benefit from it. Oh, they left that part out, but I added that part in my head. Thanks, yes. Can you do multiple funding campaigns at the same time? I don't know. I don't know what, we're living in this crazed Wild West of extracting money from fans. So, my feeling is you can do anything you want as long as your audience, your fans, the people you're asking, don't feel like you've crossed the line with them sort of almost emotionally. So you can say, here's what I want, and I want this on this, I don't know. We can come back and go, we've now shot our film. Now we need money for a billboard on Sunset Boulevard. Can you give us money? The answer is yes, but don't piss them off. I think if you get a little grabby and you get a little needy and you get greedy with them, I feel like there's going to be repercussions. She just told a horrible racial joke, and I'm not going to repeat that. I'm sorry. This is Santa Monica. I don't know if you're from the Antelope Valley, but these people do not appreciate that kind of humor here, all right? So I'm going to do you a favor and not repeat what you just said to me. Wow. I'm an atheist and a little bit racist, and that was really offensive to me right there. I want you to know. I'm not normally uptight, but wow. All right, let's go out on a laugh. Thank you so much for having me in this morning. I'm going to watch a little professional football, and you guys be enlightened by an amazing panel. Thank you very much.